Jay here for Stretford Paddock, and this is the second ever episode of Stretford Paddock Live. And joining me, as always, because it's been 2 episodes and you're here again.
As always.
Joe Smith. How are you doing, brother?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm good, mate. We've got loads coming up tonight.
Yep.
We've got the latest on transfer rumours because January's not that far away, so the rumours are getting going again. So there's been some stories emanating about what United's next 4 targets could be.
Yes.
Whether that's January or the summer, we'll have to see. But apparently, United have 4 targets in mind, 4 positions as well that they want to fill. So me and Joe are going to be going through who we think should be filling those positions. We've also got the press conference comments from today. Ole speaking to the press ahead of the mouth-watering clash against Sheffield
My mouth is watering, Jay, I'll be honest with you.
It wants to be sunshine. Do you hear me? It wants to be.
Jesus.
Very...
Stop. I'll be honest, it's dried up now. I'm scared.
We'll just sort it out. And we'll have a Paul Pogba story. Why not?
Why not? And also the latest on Hakan Çalhanoğlu as well.
I'm glad you said that.
Because there's been
I always get it wrong.
I wouldn't say devastating, but certainly a backward step taken there, and we'll get into the full details of that as well. And of course, Liverpool versus Tottenham is going on that screen behind the camera. So we'll be giving you live updates of that as Harry Kane has a shot from the edge of the box and that goes over the bar. But any updates on that, of course, it's very much related to Manchester United, isn't it?
Why have we got the Scousers on?
What
did we say about this?
We want to see him lose.
Right, all right, I'll let you off.
But yeah, we'll be giving you live updates of that game, so don't you worry about missing any of that.
Got it home. So just for the next hour and a half, stick around because we're going to be going through lots.
Yeah.
Starting with, of course, we mentioned earlier, and as you've probably seen on the thumbnail, we get the words out, that United have some transfer targets. There was a story that started in the MEN tonight.
Yeah.
Now, the MEN is patchy, shall we say, sometimes with its stories. I'm not going to pretend it's my favourite newspaper all the time, but occasionally, a broken clock is right twice a day. And a lot of what they said today actually makes a bit of sense.
Yeah.
So the United have identified 4 positions that I think it was over the next 2 transfer windows that United want to fill. And those positions were, correct me if I'm wrong here, Joe, right back, right wing, centre back, and centre midfielder in the defensive midfielder mould.
Exactly right.
So, because me and Joe are awesome, we've given ourselves a little bit of a list each of who we think should fill those positions. And as always, guys, we want you to get involved in the comments. Let us know who you want to see coming in right back, right wing, centre back, central defensive midfielder. Do you think those aren't the positions, or there should be more positions we're looking at? Let us know what you think, and don't forget, if you're not doing already, to hit like as well. Give us those likes and subscribe if you're not subscribing. What's wrong with that?
These are basically the positions that, according to the MEN, the club have identified as the 4 positions that will take us from where we are now to where we want to be.
Where do we want to be, Joe?
We want to be winning the Champions League and the Premier League and the FA Cup, and fuck it, I'll have the Carabao Cup and the World Cup and all. Club World Cup, not the actual World Cup. I know we don't.
Why not, man? Do you know what I mean?
We've got
Man
just
United,
half
we
a
do what we
that.
want. Well,
Yeah, exactly.
Right, so we'll tell you what. We'll start from the back. You mentioned there that right back is a position.
Yeah.
Who's your right back?
Right back, we'll be able to see on there. I'm going to go Kieran Trippier. I think that he's 30 years old, so he's not going to come in, and we're not going to have to worry long term. Is he taking Aaron Wan-Bissaka's place? He's a great for now transfer, or for the next couple of years transfer. He's good on the ball. He's got great set pieces. He can get the ball into the box well. He's had a rejuvenated period of form over Atletico Madrid, who are one of the best teams in La Liga. I think if they win their games in hand, they'll go top of the league. They're a good side. He's a good player. He left Tottenham in not the best circumstances. He came back from the World Cup and looked like everything had fallen off. And unfortunately, fortunately for United potentially, it hadn't. He's gone to Atletico Madrid, like I said, he's rejuvenated his career. And I think he'd be great because he comes in and you don't have to worry, like I said, about, what is Aaron Wan-Bissaka going to lose his place? Defensively, we know Aaron Wan-Bissaka is streets ahead of pretty much everyone else in the Premier League, certainly ahead of Kieran Trippier. But certain games, for example, Manchester United versus Sheffield United tomorrow, who would you rather play as a right wing-back or a right full-back? Kieran Trippier, who can get down the line, get the balls in the box, feed players like Martial, like Bruno, or Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who could do with the rest, first of all, has played almost every minute this season, and isn't that good comparably going forward. I think he'd be a great signing at right back.
No, I agree. Can we get the comments on the screen there? I think there's a bit of an issue with my old laptop. No, I get where you're coming with Kieran Trippier. We spoke about this the other day, didn't we? Last week when we were doing this show, because there was a story coming out that United were linked with him. I think it started from Mike McGrath in the Telegraph, who's relatively reliable, and it gathered a bit of momentum. James Cooper was covering it as well, which made you think, okay, there is some fire to that smoke. So it wouldn't surprise me if Kieran Trippier did end up at Manchester United. And we mentioned it last week, and I'll mention it again for all the reasons you've spoken about. Had a good time at Atletico Madrid. sort of tested himself. He could have gone to another Premier League club.
Yeah.
He was an England international who, was highly regarded, and he could have happily gone to, I don't know, quite a few Premier League clubs would have had him. He didn't, he wouldn't have been able to go to relegation fodder, but he went to Atletico. A few people raising eyebrows, thinking, why has he gone there? It's a bit of a risk. But he's had a very, very good time of it. As you said, challenging at the top of the table, and brings that experience as well. The one thing that Aaron Wan-Bissaka lacks is that experience. You can tell that, especially going forward, can be a little bit naive. So I get where you're coming from on that one.
Quick comment there from Aaron Braz before I move on to my next signing. Just give Laird a chance. I'd love to give Laird a chance. Unfortunately, his body tends not to give him a chance, which is so sad. Again, he's just coming back from another injury, something that has been a problem with him his whole career. But hopefully, let's see Ethan Laird, be fit for 6 months in a row, 8 months in a row, bring him into the first team. I'd love to see him. I think he's an excellent player, but you can't have your backup right back injured all the time, unfortunately.
No, listen, massive fan of Ethan Laird. Me and you spoke about it. I think we did it, didn't we, on Transfers Live one night when I think the under-23s were playing Salford or someone, and again he got an injury, and he's just had a terrible time of it, because him and Brandon Williams, people were thinking those two were going to come in at the same time in the first team. Brandon on the left, Ethan on the right. There you go, Bob's your uncle. Not quite materialised. Obviously, Brandon's got his chance and taking it very well. Ethan Laird, massive talent, and no one, not me or Joe, is saying he isn't going to have a future at Manchester United. The problem is, at the minute, he's suffering with injuries in and out of the academy team. So hopefully he can sort that out and be a long-term option for Manchester United, because I'm fully on board with that.
Should we move on to my next signing then?
Please.
Next up, at centre-back, I'm going to go Deo Upamecano, someone who's been linked with United for a long time. We know a lot about him. Say he's been linked with United for a long time. He's only 21, isn't he? There were rumours at the start of the week that he wasn't going to be coming to United, and then there was a rumour today, as Salah has a shot parried away by Lloris there, there was rumours today that he wants to come to the Premier League, and United are willing to make that deal happen. Now,
well, that's clear then.
Yeah, exactly. So that's very much up in the air, but I think he's a great player. He's got certain things that our defenders don't have. He's a bit more physically imposing than Lindelof. He's a bit quicker than Maguire. I don't know if he's necessarily quite as good on the ball, or but obviously he's a very young centre-back, something you don't see very much in top teams, and the fact that he's made his way through there at RB Leipzig shows the quality that he's got. My next signing is going to be Dennis Zachariah, another Bundesliga signing. I don't
know a lot about this kid. What's he all about?
Defensive midfielder, Swiss, plays for Borussia Mönchengladbach. He's tall, quick, strong. He's surprisingly good on the ball for a man of his height. I think he's just 6'2", 6'3", but he's good on the ball. He's a good dribbler. He's a good tackler. He brings the ball out well. I don't think he's quite as defensively sound as Matic, but imagine Matic, but he can run. Basically, is what I'm thinking here.
Almost.
Yeah, he's good on the ball and a good dribbler as well. You look at highlights and you watch him play, and you're surprised, a man of his size, how tricky he is, how he turns, how agile he is on the ball. Something that Matic never really had but didn't need. But yeah, he's a slightly quicker, slightly more agile than Nemanja Matic. Obviously, it remains to be seen if he's got that quite high-end talent, because he's playing for Mönchengladbach, who are going to be playing Manchester City in the Champions League, so you may get a good sighting of him in that game.
Got a good draw, hasn't it, Mönchengladbach, getting drawn against mid-table dross.
They've done all right, haven't they?
Hey,
a mid-table team who've never won a European trophy.
I know, that's like a buy, isn't it? You may as well start booking your flights to the quarterfinals, guys.
Potter there saying slightly quicker, drastically quicker than Nemanja Matic. Let's be honest here.
Were you being a bit kind there to Nemanja?
Yes. But yeah, he looks like to be a very good player. 24 years old as well, so very much within the age range where you go, he's a young player who we've got for a long time.
I do like that age for a midfielder.
Me too, but
do you know what I mean?
He's got a decent bit of experience.
I feel like he's ready.
Yeah.
But he's not like you've got to wait a few years for him to get there, but he's still got a level to go.
Yes.
So by my excellent maths, that still leaves you one player.
One more signing, and that is, of course, Jaden Sancho. We've been linked with him no end of times. And that picture there, by the way, the one that we've used on this graphic, doesn't it look like someone else wearing a Jaden Sancho mask? Slightly weird face on him, like he was running and he landed on one of his feet and all his face has sort of dropped. But anyway, we like Jaden Sancho. I'm not trying to have a go at how he looks, but that picture's a weird one. We need a right winger. There's no two ways about it. I know that these are the positions that have been notified or sort of registered by the club as places of interest for United. And I think, assuming these are correct, for me, they are the 4 positions we need backup in. We've only got one right back. As actual defensive midfielders, Fred has adapted to play there, but really, we've only got Matic, but Fred can work if you put McTominay next to him, if you put Matic next to him, if you put Pogba next to him. We need someone who can do that role by themselves. We don't have any right wingers. Again, Greenwood has been adapted to play there. Rashford can be adapted to play there. We don't have anyone where you go, their whole career, they came out of the youth team, playing on the right-hand side, playing on the right-hand side, playing on the right-hand side. Jaden Sancho, I know he's done a bit of both, but he can play and has played a lot of games as a right winger on the right-hand side. And I just think he'd be brilliant. And we almost don't need to go into Jaden Sancho. We talked about him so extensively over the last 12 months. But he's not had the best start to the season either.
Can I just play a little bit of devil's
advocate? Go on then, you
here,
deviled egg.
Because...
Sorry.
I don't know whether it's fatigue. I don't know if I've got Jaden Sancho fatigue and I'm just getting fed up because we've been speaking about him for months on end and nothing has changed other than the fact that there's now a shorter sort of amount of time or less likelihood of him coming here. But from what I've seen of him, yes, he's a very talented player. Obviously, he's exciting, but I don't know. It seems like it's a big gamble to me still for the amount of money that's being sort of rumoured for him. We're looking at around 100 million, even though we didn't get him in the summer, and obviously he's got less on his contract left. But you hear these stories, and even German journalists we've spoken to have said that he can. I don't want to say he's got a bad attitude, because I'm not saying that, but there has been disciplinary problems at the time at Dortmund.
There had been public disciplinary problems. So it's not as though that's some inside secret.
Yeah,
he didn't turn up for training. He was dropped and left out of games for his attitude before. That's not a lie.
So that's like slightly worrying when you're going to spend basically the GDP of a small country on someone. I
mean, not even that small of a country.
Yeah, not even like a medium-sized country like Belgium.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's that, and then there's also the fact of like, okay, yeah, he's been in the Premier League, but he hasn't really, has he?
No.
Let's not kid ourselves. He's got Premier League.
He's been in England.
He's been in England, but he hasn't
He doesn't have Premier League experience.
Yeah, he's not got Premier League experience, and I've sort of conned myself into thinking that before. Oh, he's got English experience. Well, no, he is English, but he's not really got experience of being in the Premier League.
Yeah.
And again, I'm being a little bit negative and playing a little bit devil's advocate here, but we've seen lots of people come from Germany, come from Dortmund in particular.
Mkhitaryan.
Thank you.
Shinji Kagawa.
Yeah. Lighting the gaff up there. You think they'll come over and do the same, and they've not been bad. Mkhitaryan and Kagawa, for me, weren't bad players.
No,
just to use them as an example. But they weren't the player that we thought we were getting.
No. Certainly they weren't the player that we bought from Dortmund.
And that worries me slightly. And I know you can't say, well, not all players from Dortmund are the same.
No, of course
Do you know
not.
what I mean? Of course not. Roy Keane wasn't the same as Peter Davenport.
Yeah.
We both came from Forest. But it is a little bit worrying because it's such a hefty fee.
As Bergwijn goes through one-on-one with the goalkeeper, slots it, hits the inside of the post there. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, please do. Bergwijn now going through and hits the inside of the post.
Still 1-1 in that game, but Bergwijn has just hit the inside of the post.
Jose Mourinho looks like he's going to murder him at full time now. His looks could kill, he'd be dead.
Dortmund.
Yeah, so forgive me if I'm just getting a little less enthused about this one. That's how I'm feeling. I'm not as giddy about it as I was.
And if you wanted to talk about problems that Jaden Sancho's had, for me, when you watch Jaden Sancho for England, I don't think he stands out as the sort of man that gets the goals and assists that he does for Dortmund regularly. Do you know what I mean? He looks to be a good player. He's a very tricky player. He's got a lot of skills. He can put the ball in the back of the net. But when I see him play for England, I don't go, wow, he's the best player on the pitch. Generally speaking, I don't see that. And for 120 million, you would maybe want that. But again, he's a young player. He's got a lot to improve. He's got a lot of great qualities. He's quick. He's great on the ball. He's a good finisher. He's a great passer of the ball as well. So yeah, I think there's a lot to come from Jaden Sancho, and that's why he's on my list.
Can I just issue a quick disclaimer here, because people will click that up when we sign him, and he scores 40 goals in his first season.
Oh, good. Good. If he scores 40 goals in the season, feel free to clip anything you want about people saying he's not that good.
He said he was rubbish. He said he was the next thing with Mkhitaryan, but not as good.
He changed his mind because he was wicked for us.
Yeah.
Right, who's your four then, Jay?
Right, starting at the back, on right back, I've gone with Max Aarons. Remember him? When we bought Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and we were playing a bit of, brinksmanship.
Oh, good word.
Thank you, sir. I learned from you. With Crystal Palace. We're going, what? 50 million for Wan-Bissaka? Don't even want it, mate. We'll get Max Aarons. And Palace were like, go on then.
Yeah.
I'm like, no.
No, I didn't mean it.
We didn't mean it. How much did you want? 50 million? All right, then there you go.
Yeah, take it.
That's our negotiating tactic. But it made me look at Max Aarons, and actually, he's pretty good. Had a good season at Norwich when they were in the Premier League. I know they didn't have a good season, but he did. It's been doing well this season as well. Has been linked with moves to other clubs. Has been linked with, I think he was linked with a move to Italy at one point as well. So he's been sort of looked at. Still only 20 years old.
Yep.
Has got Premier League experience. Is a youngster. And also, if you're coming into United at right back, you're not guaranteed a first choice spot. There's no, let's face facts, Aaron Wan-Bissaka is probably going to be United's first choice.
Yeah.
So then you've got two players vying for that position. And Max Aarons, you're probably getting for what, 20, 25 million?
Yeah.
Maybe 30 tops. comes into United and you say to him, you know what, there's a position there, you've got to fight for it though. He'll be up for that. No disrespect, coming from Norwich in the Championship to Manchester United in the Premier League. So it makes sense on a lot of fronts for me, and he's a player that is going to get better. So I quite like Max Aarons.
Yeah, I think he's a good player.
I wouldn't mind him coming to Old Trafford at all. I wouldn't have him coming into the team and Wan-Bissaka warming the bench.
No.
But I think if Wan-Bissaka needed resting, or if you was to maybe change his system slightly and have Warren Buffett as one of your chosen billionaires alongside Bill Gates and Elon Musk. Yeah. No, if you was to have Wan-Bissaka as part of a back three, which I still think could be an option for him, you could have Max Aarons as your win back. So a player that I quite like. Guys, let us know what you think. Darcy Sweeney's with me. He says he likes Max Aarons as well. So
yeah, give us your 4 signings United should make. United, according to the MEN, are targeting a right winger, a right back, a defensive midfielder, and a centre back as our transfer targets for the next 2 windows. They're the signings that United think will take us to title contenders, to winning the big trophies. We're picking who we think those signings should be. Let us know yours at home as well. Jay, who's next on the list? I can see him here. It's Dale Upamecano. We agree on one.
Mate, we don't often agree, but now and again we do, and we agree on this one because I like Dale Upamecano. He's young, he's talented, he's great on the ball, he's quick, he's got everything you'd want from a centre-back.
Yep.
And it made me laugh because when we beat him 5-0, Leipzig, and it was like, Upamecano, it's rubbish, mate.
Rubbish, mate, shit.
You don't even, like, Rashford put him on his arse.
I know.
What are we buying him for? No, he's not rubbish. He's very, very good at football and would be a very good player for Manchester United. And also, I think he'd be the sort of foil for Harry Maguire because we've been over this a million times, but I'll say it again. Harry Maguire isn't going anywhere.
No.
Harry Maguire's not getting dropped from Manchester United.
And he shouldn't either.
No, and I'm with you on that.
Let's say that as well. He shouldn't get dropped either. I don't think he's been that bad.
No, he's not been that bad. He's not.
Personally.
Let's put it this way.
Yes.
You're going back to the summer of 2019. Yeah?
I'm there. I'm on the beach.
COVID isn't even a thing.
Not even a thing, mate.
You haven't even heard of it, mate. Pandemic.
COVID is still a twinkle in its father's eye.
The last pandemic was 1918, whatever it was.
And by this point, I've forgotten about that one.
Yeah, so, Ollie's at the wheel and all this business.
Oh, what a wheel it is as well.
We're linked with Harry Maguire. Do you buy him?
How much?
80 million.
Yes.
You'd still buy him?
Yeah.
You would
still buy him.
And I would.
He's made our defence better. I think, personally, people like to be contrarians. People like to see the thing that no one else is seeing. He's made our defence better. He's our best centre-back. As much as people want to say, actually, if you watch, Lindelof's had the better few months. I think Lindelof's been decent. Harry Maguire is dominant aerially. Harry Maguire, he gets dribbled past occasionally, but generally speaking, he's very good on the ground as well. He's a good passer of the ball. There's half the times when Harry Maguire, we're attacking, he's got the ball 35 yards out, and he's making play happen. He's making things happen that he doesn't really get credit for, that if he wasn't there, you wouldn't go, why isn't our centre-back 35 yards out making passes and great in play? But when he is there, he doesn't even get credit for it. I think he does a lot of stuff that goes under the radar. And yes, I'd definitely buy him if we had the chance.
Completely agree. So he isn't going anywhere. He is a good Manchester United player. He has been a good Manchester United player.
Yes.
So get it into your head that the centre-back that comes in is going to play alongside him. So you should be thinking about that.
Get it proper dad talk, that.
Get it into your head.
Right. If I get a Milky Way duo, I'm having half.
I have to tell you this again.
Kids,
it'll be the last time.
Yeah.
Right?
There's 2 Twixes for a reason.
Oh, we've got a super chat. United Forever podcast. Big fans of the show, United Forever podcast. Philip Zinkernagel, Danish right winger, 26 years old, 27 appearances this season, 19 goals, 24 assists. Bodo Glimt's top of Illustrian Norway. I probably said all that wrong, forgive me. Contract ends in 2 weeks. Now, I will tell you this now, right now, United Forever podcast and anyone else watching, that could have all been made up, but I'll believe you, because I don't know anything about any of that. Do you?
I've not heard of Bodo Glimt. I've not heard of Philip Zinkernagel. And to be quite frank, I wish I'd never had. No, I don't really. I'm really joking. No, I don't know anything about any of them.
But we'll check him out,
yes.
And next time we'll have a look. And you know what? Probably you keep watching now because some online blog like the MEN will probably run a story now saying that we've been linked with him and we're going to buy him.
Next signing then. And this one, come on, Jay.
Is this a central defensive midfielder? Right, hear me out on this one, brother.
So who is it first?
It's Thomas Partey.
You can see him on the screen.
Thomas Partey.
With an Arsenal shirt on, Jay.
Yes.
Right.
He plays for Arsenal.
Yeah.
Since when has that been a problem for us getting their best players?
Great point.
Oh, Robin Van Persie won't stop scoring. Can we have him to win us the league? Yes, you can. oh, I know he's turned out to be rubbish, but your best player is Alexis Sanchez.
Yeah.
We'll have him. We don't want Mkhitaryan anymore. You can have him instead. It's not that difficult. It's especially not that difficult when Arsenal are battling relegation. Mate, they've just been having a parade because they drew 1-1 with Southampton to stop them losing the 5th consecutive home game. They're a shambles.
Yeah, they are a shambles at the moment.
So, I'm sorry, but come the summer, we should be just like, right, who do we want from Arsenal? We'll have him. And if Partey's got any sense in his head, he's got a buyout clause, or he'll just say, I'm not playing for you anymore because I don't want to play in the Championship. And it's rubbish.
Imagine if they get relegated.
Yes.
I'd like Thomas Partey. I think we know the qualities of Thomas Partey. He's a good player. I think it's going to be difficult getting him out of
Jack
Arsenal.
Harden says, well, that's not going to happen, is it? Why not? Seriously, why couldn't we get Partey in the summer?
I think it's possible.
Of course it is. And he's very good. He's just in a shit team.
So, finally, then, who you got last then?
My last one is, really original here, Joe.
Go on. I mean, I picked Sancho.
I don't even think you know this guy. He's a little gem. I've been doing my scouting, and I've heard of him, and his name's Jack Grealish.
Jake
Grealish.
Jake Relish.
Plays for Aston Villa.
Yeah.
Villarreal. No, Aston Villa, obviously. And do you know what about him, right? And this is so base, but I'm going to use it as my argument anyway. He's just exciting to watch. It just brings a bit of like joy to football. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's all doom and gloom in football nowadays. It's like who's the least crap. That's how you win a game. But he plays like he's playing on the park with his mates. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And I like
he bloody shags like it as well. If there's pictures on Twitter or anything to go
those are some of the best pictures I've ever seen.
I love it.
It's so good. You know what I mean? Everything about him.
And even that picture, I'm sure a lot of you have seen it. I'm sure all of you have seen it. Even the woman in that picture, she looks like she's having a great time.
That's what I love. You know what
Everyone's
I mean?
got a smile on their face. And that's what Jack Grealish brings to football, to the bedroom, maybe not to, road traffic accidents. But everyone's having a good time there. You can't put that on the stream.
No,
but,
please don't put that on the stream.
If you haven't seen it.
Yeah, it looks like the scene from American, that Road Trip. Have you ever seen Road Trip?
No, I've never seen it.
Oh, you need to see Road Trip, yeah. But yeah, it's just...
He's just been handed a 10-month driving ban. So
yeah,
that side we mentioned it with Sancho, so it's only fair to mention it with Grealish. Does that side of his personality worry you?
Yeah, because I think there was the thing that lockdown wasn't there and everything. That's not great. And obviously, we don't want players that are problematic. But I wouldn't put Jack Grealish into the category, I'm really worried about his attitude or he's problematic or whatever. He's made a mistake. Even that, though, when he turned up for court and he made someone drive his car there and then, he snuck in. Even that was amusing. But I don't condone bad driving.
It was like something from Minder, that, or like some old TV show where they're like...
Minder. How do you know about Minder?
I used to watch it when I was a kid. My dad used to watch it.
What is it? I could be... No, I forget it.
It's
good for you.
No, literally no one in the comments
That's
has
the
watched
one
Minder.
I was talking about.
I've not seen that.
Right.
No one else can see it at home either. So
sorry, this is just an in-joke between three people, which isn't very good, considering the 600 people watching the stream. We've got another super chat from Parth.
Yes.
Ole gets sacked, Ferdinand takes over and appoints Howson as his assistant, then Ferdinand gets sacked and Howson gets appointed. How mad would that be? Not only would that be mad, it would also be the time when I'd give up on watching football in any way, shape or form. Probably give up on life, if I'm being honest with you, if Stephen Howson ended up manager of my football club. No disrespect to him, he's my pal, but I don't think Paddock FC, next step, Manchester United. That's not how it works. Go on.
Speaking of next steps, shall we move on to our next topic tonight, Jay?
So have I won that argument then?
Well, I don't know who's won that because all your players, I mean, we ain't getting Partey.
Why not?
Max Aaron's...
Oh, imagine you in 2012. Well, no point in trying to get Van Persie. We won't ever get him. Oh, look, City have got him and won another title. Van Persie hadn't just gone to
Arsenal 6 months ago, had he?
Do you know what I mean? What sort of an attitude is that, Joe? God, we gave them Danny Welbeck. Of course we can have Thomas Partey.
That's true.
They owe us big time. Right, all right, I'll give you that one. Maybe, probably not, but we can, we can dream. Dream, it's a bit of a strong word. We can speculate. Go on then.
Let's move on to our next topic. Let's have a look at some of Ole's conference quotes today. We tried to do a video on this earlier, but software and other problems...
Did someone press the wrong button? Because that's what happens with my software.
No, something got... We've been having problems off camera, but we've fixed them now. Let's talk about Ole...
I've got some of these here.
Mentioning Cavani's injury, first of all.
This was very sort of sit on the fence, almost meaningless, but not quite meaningless comment about Cavani's injury. And another one about Dean Henderson, which I'll get into in a minute. But when it comes to Edinson Cavani, Solskjaer said, Edinson has done well in rehab. We've all been there. Still have to make the decision.
Not that kind of rehab.
All right, sorry. Still have to make the decision if we should risk him. It is a little bit to risk him too early. I doubt him to be available to pick tomorrow. So, not quite, he's not going to feature, but it's unlikely. But then are we going to go, Cavani's starting?
No.
Right, okay.
I doubt it. And also we've got to remember, between now and the next Stretford Paddock Live, we've also got the Leeds match, which he may well be fit to start in. I think we saw with Martial against City, he came on having not been fit in midweek. He came on against City, played a few minutes. How important do you think Cavani's going to be for United this season? And the fact that he's coming back to fitness, whether it is against Sheffield United, whether it is against Leeds, whoever it may be, how important is Cavani going to be? And you know, we say there, he's done well in rehab, we still have to make the decision. It's a little bit too early to risk him, but he's not actually been out that long. Do you think that he's going to play a bigger role than we first thought when he came to United?
Yeah, 100%. And you know, there's no point in denying it. When we were very first linked with him, I was extremely sceptical. I was like, oh, he's just, you know, sat at home for a reason. No one's come in for him because he's past it. And I've been proven wrong already, I think, because just from the brief glimpses we've seen of him, especially in that Southampton game, you can see he offers something different. His pedigree's unmistakable, that was never in question, but he's obviously still got that edge. He's bringing a lot of it to training as well. There's massive reports of him having the right attitude, sort of the way he applies himself, and being a good influence on some of the younger players, and someone that younger players can learn off, because, you know, yes, they can learn off Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, the strikers, because he was a striker, but that's not the same as an active striker now who's playing currently, who's got that about him where he's a bit of a predator, who can do the things that Marcus and Martial and Mason can do by drifting wide and all the rest of it. So, yeah, I've been massively impressed. And I do think, you know, in answer to your question, that, you know, we do need him. He is important. So I get that, because the Leeds game, they're all big games, but it's a massive game. So if we do have to wait for him until then I'm not too concerned by that. Because as well, I think that, I know we keep saying this, but Anthony Martial's got to step up soon. He can't not score in the Premier League all season. So he's got to step up. And, you know, Sheffield United, he got a hat-trick against them last time, didn't he? Memory serves?
Yeah, he did.
So this seems like an ideal time for him to start getting amongst the goals.
Yeah, we've got another quote from Ole as well, from the press conference, where he was looking forward to the Sheffield United game. If we can get that on the screen. We don't
well, I'll tell you another one that we've got. In fact, you can read out the Super Chat first.
Yeah. Win tomorrow, and it would take us ahead of Chelsea with the game in hand. Will be just 3 points off the top of the table. Assuming, by the way, this game, the Tottenham-Liverpool game stays as it is, we surely will be in a title race.
We're going to get to the title race
stuff
in a minute.
But
I want to talk about
done.
Dean Henderson, because I think one of Ollie's first questions was about Dean Henderson. Obviously, was at Sheffield United last season, had a very good season there. Signed a new deal at United. There was lots of talk of him becoming the number one this season. That's not really happened. He's played a couple of cup games. David De Gea has had a pretty solid start to the season. Not perfect, and not back to his 2017-ish best, but decent. So Ollie was asked about him, and he said, asked about Dean Henderson, that is, he's made his England debut. He's learning more and more the United style. We're very sorry about that. Gremlins in the machine, so you lost us for about 30 seconds there. But don't worry, we're back, and we do apologise. And we were just going through Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's comments in today's press conference. He mentioned Dean Henderson, as I was saying before. We were rudely interrupted there. Dean Henderson had a fantastic season at Sheffield United. Came back, talk of him being our number one, signed a new deal. Probably was told, you'd guess, he was going to be part of the first team. All right, he's played in the Carabao Cup and a couple of league games, when David De Gea got his injury. But by and large, he hasn't really been sort of the first choice, has he? No. Would he be your first choice? I don't know if he'd be my first choice. He's got to be playing in the Europa. He's got to be playing in the Carabao. And I would play him in the FA Cup as well. We've brought him back. This isn't some goalkeeper who was brought in to be a second-choice goalkeeper. This is someone who we took away from a mid-table side in Sheffield United last season with the promise of, come back in and you can fight for your place and you'd be given chances for your place. I know he's played a few games, but he's got no real certainty as to which tournaments he plays in. Fair enough, you don't want to play him in the Champions League. He's not your first choice goalkeeper. But we're not in the Champions League now. We're in a tournament that is much less important. We're in a tournament that is a good place to give other players a rest, give players some time to prove themselves. I think if you say to David De Gea, you know what, do you want to not have to go to Bulgaria twice a week, or twice in 2 weeks, or Spain as it may be now? I think David Hay would probably go, yeah, that's all right, that sounds all right, I'll stay at home. Take Lee Grant, take
Romero, take whoever you want and play
Romero,
Henderson.
did you see that picture? Sorry to interrupt, but did you see that picture they put out the other day? I think yesterday, the club about all the goalkeepers, and like Romero wasn't there. It's just like he's proper. It's like he's been erased, like Trotsky.
Yeah.
Under Stalin, erased from history, which is a bit of a shame because they like Sergio Romero, and it looks like his United days are over. So, sorry, go on.
Yeah, I think Henderson should be playing in those tournaments, and I wouldn't play him tomorrow because I just think De Gea's our goalkeeper, but we need to give him minutes. Otherwise, what was the point in bringing him back? We had a very good second choice goalkeeper. I think the plan has to have been bring him back, ease him in. He's looked good every time he's played. I don't think there's any concern about, is he good enough? Can he do it? Maybe long term you would have to, it's another step up that he needs to prove. But he's been excellent every time he's played. Give him more games.
Give him more games. I'd have him as my first choice, to be honest with you. I don't know. I think David De Gea's been all right this season, but I just don't think he's the David De Gea of old at all. And I think that if this was his level now, if he was playing for someone else at this level, we wouldn't be thinking, if he was at Atletico playing like this, we need to get him.
No.
I think he's sort of still dining out a little bit of what he used to be.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I just think Dean Henderson, I think the time is right. I still think there's a slight question mark around David De Gea. I know he's having an okay start to the season, but yeah, I think Dean Henderson deserves his chance, and I wouldn't mind it if he starts, but I'm not going to lose my mind over it, and it's not like, get rid of David De Gea, because we know what he's capable of, and like I said, he's had a decent-ish start to the season. Also, on all his comments where he was talking about his formation, because he was saying, how can you explain the fact that sometimes, how do you work it out? Sometimes you play 3 at the back, sometimes you play 4 at the back, sometimes it works. Paris away, 3 at the back works, against Leipzig away, it didn't work. What would you say about that? So Solskjaer was talking about that, and he just said it was a 4-2-3-1 against City, and coming into that left-hand pocket is probably Paul Pogba's favourite position. Paul did well. Team's shape was as it normally is. Twice we played 3 at the back, beat PSG, lost to Leipzig, played a full game with a diamond and 2 half games with a diamond. 4 out of 22 games isn't bad for consistency of a normal shape. Some details change. What do you make of Ole's formation? He's changing it. Would you rather see us stick to one, or do you think he's right to sort of sometimes try to 3 at the back, sometimes try this diamond? You've got different players that you want to bring in, like you mentioned Paul Pogba there. He doesn't always start nowadays, which sounds crackers to say, but it's true.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on it all?
I've been a bit critical of the diamond in the past. I think we were terrible against Leipzig. I think we were terrible against Arsenal.
Agreed.
But you're not going to win every game in any formation. So if every time you lose a game in a certain formation, or you scrap it, we can never play like that again. Everything has to be overhauled. Everything, this huge upheaval of top to bottom, personnel, players, manager, formation, stadium. Get a new bus on the way to the ground. It's the bus that's doing them. Like as fans, we will find any reason, any sort of but you didn't think of this reason why this is why we lost that game. That's why we lost that game. If you ever noticed at the Emirates they cut the grass slightly shorter on the wings, like all these things where you're like, where are we getting this stuff from? We've barely, let's be honest, we've barely played these formations, like Ollie said there.
Yeah.
We almost always play 4-2-3-1. Even recently, where we've played around with the formations a little bit in the absence of both Martial and Cavani, our only 2 strikers. Again, I mentioned it in the preview. There's been almost nothing made of this. Our only 2 strikers at the club. I know you can call Mason Greenwood a number 9, and we all think he'll play there. He's only ever played for the first team on the right hand side. Yeah. Pretty much, with little bits here and there, but for the huge majority, he's been on the right-hand side. Rashford, we can all agree, is better on the left. Our only 2 strikers were injured against Leipzig, and Martial just started to come back in a bit against City. We've been forced into this. We don't want to play the diamond every week. We played it a little bit when Martial was suspended, and we played it when he was injured, and we played it against Arsenal for some reason. Right, whatever. Ole likes to play a 4-2-3-1, and for so long, people were critical of that because we don't need to play two defensive midfielders. We're Man United, and now we hark back to the years. Do you remember 4-2-3-1? Everything was fucking brilliant, wasn't it? Well, really, our players aren't all that good in those positions. We're struggling to make it consistent performances and to win games all the time. If every time we lost in a formation, we changed the whole formation, what would we be playing by now? 1-1-9. It's not the case that every time something goes wrong, that all has to be scrapped. I think give it a bit of time. It's good that he's got a bit of versatility where he can look at an opposition and go, actually, here's why I'm going to pick this team. Here's what I'm going to do here. He likes to play Fred and McTominay against the big teams. He likes to play maybe a diamond, but generally, we play a diamond when people are injured or suspended. It's not some big new formation he loves. And before that, the three at the back had looked good against the other top sides. Last season, United had the second best record against the other top teams. And some of that was playing three at the back. I don't think there's a problem. Personally, I like to have wingers. I like to see wide play from United. But if we've got both of our strikers out, what options do we have?
You're right, I get that, and I think it's easy to dismiss. One thing that happens is when you get a bad result, people don't want to make excuses with players that are missing. They don't like to say, oh, well, Cavani was missing, Martial was missing. They don't like to do that, especially when the nature of that defeat against Leipzig, where we were awful for 40 minutes, we were as bad as we've been under Ole, where you want to sort of start, getting the pitchforks out and let's go and burn down the village or whatever. When you actually look at it in the cold light of day and you go, okay, wasn't a great performance, but there are mitigating circumstances. So I get where you're coming from. And also when Cavani came in, I remember doing a video where it was like, if you look at Telles, for example, who seems more suited to being a wing-back than an actual left-back, because there is a difference. And he gets up and down that sort of left wing, like a wing-back, can be a little bit defensively frail. So if you've got Luke Shaw on the left-hand side of a back three, I know it didn't work great against Leipzig, but in theory, that should work. Do you know what I mean? So I understand why you might say, okay, if I want to sort of utilise Telles and get him crossing balls, say if Cavani is fit to Cavani, how do I fit them both into the team? Okay, then let's go 3-5-2 or whatever. It makes sense. So you have to change formations, you have to adapt, and there's nothing wrong with that. The greatest manager in the history of football changed formations, changed tactics. People said, Fergie always played 4-4-2. He didn't.
No.
He changed tactics, and he was often right to do so.
Sorry, Jay, should we move on a little bit? Let's talk about our next topic.
Transfer rumours?
Well, let's talk about Hakan Çalhanoğlu, because he's been someone that United have been linked with. He was linked very heavily, if we can get the quotes on the screen in just a minute. He's been linked very heavily with Manchester United. Christian Falk, who is this, historically, not always the most reliable guy, and then sort of became almost on the coattails of Fabrizio Romano, this true false Twitter sort of, deal or no deal style. I don't know, he thought, you know what, he's got a catchphrase he has. I'm going to give myself a true false catchphrase. But over the summer, he proved himself again to be quite reliable with German transfers.
Do you know how he proved himself when he came on Tier 1? How? Can I just say? Because if you want to know whether this guy is actually in the know or not, we got him on the Tier 1 podcast. He's been on twice now, and we'll get to Çalhanoğlu in a minute. But when he first came on in the summer, he came on the Tier 1 podcast on his phone at the Bayern Munich training ground whilst Bayern Munich were training. And we were asking him a question. He was like, Alcantara, I'll see if I can ask you.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you want. But for that stuff, he's very good. But he came out, as you can see on the screen there. Talks are already very, very, very far at the moment, and he'll be a free agent. Man. So this transfer is very, very likely. That's what he said, talking to you on the Tier 1 podcast. And that story was nationwide. We saw that story run really big from that transfer. Now, that was on the 25th of November. Today, Fabrizio Romano has said this, which we'll get on the screen as well. He's been talking about Hakan Çalhanoğlu as well, and the situation that he's in with his contract. And he said that the agent of Çalhanoğlu had a meeting today in Milan with the AC Milan board. Talks to extend his contract expiring next June. AC Milan are still working to reach an agreement. Nothing advanced by Manchester United's side now. Now, that is very much a... What are you fucking talking about, lad?
Well, it might be, or it might be. And I'm not just being, Christian Falk FC, but it might be a case of AC Milan have got their act together and are thinking, we want to keep him. We need to sort our lives out and make that happen, get him extended. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. I'm not going to pretend that I knew a lot about this guy until he started getting linked with United, because unlike everyone else on the planet, I'm not a massive sort of watcher of Italian football. So I didn't really know a lot about, I know basics, but I didn't know a lot about him. I know he's a very talented individual and a lot of people are getting excited about him. I understand that, but I don't know a lot about him. So he's not going to be like, I'm going to be lying awake at night going, why the fuck didn't we get Hakan Çalhanoğlu? It's not one of those situations, but there's obviously talk of United interest, as you've mentioned. Romano's mentioned it, even though he's saying nothing advanced by United at the minute. Falk's mentioned it. These are two guys that tend to be the more reliable. So United are obviously involved in the conversation at some point. We'll just have to see how that develops and whether we do get him, whether we do put a bid in, whether he signs a new deal with Milan and it just ends up going up in smoke. But we will keep you posted on that, and we have got a Tier 1 podcast coming up later on this week with another Tier 1 journalist. So we'll ask him about that and see what he can tell us.
Speaking of updated news, Roberto Firmino has scored for Liverpool.
Is it that time of the year again?
90th minute goal for them, which is an absolute kick in the bollocks, isn't it? Yeah, so Firmino has scored for Liverpool, 2-1 there now. That's annoying, isn't it?
Any time the Scousers win, it's annoying, and obviously 90th minute, that's pretty much done and dusted. So yeah, a little bit annoying, but you know.
Also, let's be honest, we saw this coming a little bit. Tottenham have sat back and done nothing for fucking every game they've had against a big side.
It's just Jose, isn't it? That's what he does.
Yeah.
But like the only man who can be happy losing 2-1 away.
You know, I think it's going to be difficult for them to, with that team, to sit back and defend and defend and defend. And there was a point in the second half where Liverpool had 85% possession in the sort of preceding 10 minutes. You can't give a team 85% possession and expect not to concede. But, you know, it does appear Liverpool have scored there, so that's going to be the end of that. Let's move on, shall we? To
the real title contenders.
To the real title contenders, because this game, obviously, unfortunately, Liverpool have probably got 3 points there, but what that does mean is that Tottenham will have dropped 3 points. We saw Chelsea drop 3 points yesterday. We saw Arsenal. Who cares about Arsenal? We saw
Southampton drop points.
Southampton
They're
drop
relevant
points
now.
today.
They're involved
against
in the title
Arsenal.
conversation.
Exactly. We also saw. Who else was it who dropped points yesterday? Manchester City dropped points yesterday as well.
At home to West Brom.
Drew to West Brom.
Sort your lives out.
Is it time to ask whether United can win the title this season?
No, because that question's already been answered. Yes, we're going to.
We're going to, are we? Well, next, but...
no, on a serious note, we are going to, though.
Do you think?
This has...
Let us know in the comments if you think
this has a feeling... is that Zane?
Yeah.
The Arsenal fan? Is he not crying? Oh, no, he's probably been out celebrating because he drew at home to Southampton.
Yeah.
This has a feeling, to me, this season, slightly of 2016.
Yeah.
Where it was all a bit sort of chaotic and mad, and you know, at one point you thought, okay, is it Chelsea, is it Spurs, and Leicester just went and won it. And up until like the last 2 weeks, people go, it's not going to be Leicester, is it? Come on, let's get real. Jamie Vardy, where's Morgan? Don't think so. And yeah, they did. So it is a bit of a crazy league. The Scousers obviously looks like they're getting their act together slightly. City, despite yesterday's draw, you still fancy them. It's very difficult and highly unlikely that United can go from last season making up that sort of difference to win the league this season. But the way the league is, the way the points are, and the games we've played so far and the games we've got to play, we've at least got every right to look at that and go, we should be fighting for it.
Yeah.
We shouldn't just be going, well, our ambition is top 4, because then, you know, what have we become? We've become Arsenal. And then you see where you end up when you become Arsenal. You end up in 15th.
Exactly. And I'm just reading from my phone here, the league table at the moment. United on 20 points with 11 games played. At the top of the league is Liverpool, which will be 28 points after 13, assuming you know this finishes 2-1. Then it's Spurs played 13 on 25. So if we win our 2 games in hand, United go second. We go clear on points of Spurs, clear on points of Chelsea, clear on points of City and Southampton, Leicester and West Ham and Everton there as well, obviously. We'll be 2 points off Liverpool and points, you know, a point clear of anyone else on the same number of games. One problem we have is our game in hand against Burnley might not get played till March. Now, at what point does having a game in hand actually ruin things? Because you never quite get the credit for the wins. You can never quite build up that confidence. You can never quite build up that head of steam where you go, you know what, we can win this. Because unless we're, you know, 5 points clear, that game in hand is always going to be 3 points that we probably are going to need to be touching the top. Does that worry you that we might not play that game in hand for months?
In a way, but I think it's great we're having this conversation.
Oh, it's amazing.
I think, all right. Yes, you can accuse us slightly of being a little bit tongue-in-cheek and maybe even deluded.
Yeah.
But we're having a conversation like, are United in a title challenge? When most of us were thinking this season, the realistic expectation is to try and get top 4 again.
Against the Chelsea side, who have improved since last season.
Chelsea went out and spent loads of money. And everyone thought, and we don't forget, we finished level on points, I think, with them. Just goal difference that made us finish above them.
Yeah.
Am I right? So you think, okay, then they're probably above us now in terms of the quality they've got and the squad depth they've got. The Scousers were obviously miles above us, it pains me to say. City, again, I know we kept beating them in the league, but they were squad-wise above us and, you know, went out and spent a lot of money again. We spent a little bit, we didn't go mad. Do you know what I mean? Alex Telles, Cavani, and Donny van der Beek, who isn't even a first-team choice, really. That's not, United going for it in the summer, and a couple of youngsters as well who may well become great superstars for United, but we can't rely on them now. So after the summer and the way things have gone last season, you kind of thought, okay, United get top 4 in a trophy. I think that's what we were expecting. Now, I'm not saying we're going to win the league, but I think you've said it where you say, if you can be in the conversation till like March or whatever, then you can look at it and you go, all right, something's going right here.
Yeah.
We're moving in the right direction, because it's been years since we've even done that. I mean, even when under Jose we were second, we played City at home in October, I think. We lost, I think, 2-0 or 2-1 to them. I can't remember where, they scored the 2 goals with Lukaku basically set them up. And that was it. The title race was over.
Yeah, weren't they like 12 points ahead of us or something at that point?
And we, yes, on paper, you look at it and go, well, United finished second. We were never in a title race.
Even at this point of the season, like I said,
done.
by 13 games in, we haven't been, I've said it so many times.
Hit me some stats, brother.
We haven't been within 2 points of the top of the table after 10 games, let alone 13, since Fergie retired. This is the best start to a season we've had since Sir Alex Ferguson retired in terms of that gap to the top. And like I said, the fact that we can even mention it, the fact that we're standing here now saying we think United have got a chance of winning the title, and all the comments aren't there going, no, we fucking aren't what you're talking about. I'm sure some people are thinking, we're being slightly optimistic, but there's a possibility, there's an opportunity for United to, stick around, stick around.
And it's one thing that sort of saddens me a little bit about like social media and the internet age and stuff, because I'm guilty of it. Is people will have a dig at you for saying, United could go for it, we could really get involved in the title race. Or we've even got a chance, or we've got a chance in the Champions League. I know we've got knocked out of it, but having that sort of ambition and having that desire, because you should be in this competition to win it. We're still Manchester United. We should still have those sort of expectations almost. We should, because it's not like, United and everyone's better than us. But, we've got a good team. We've got a good squad. And we have beat the best teams around as well. Do you know what I mean? There's no coincidence that. There's every reason to believe that this club and this team can challenge. Okay, it's probably a bit too soon now. But certainly in the next couple of years, I expect us to be mounting a real title challenge. Yeah. And I mean one where I'm like, I will be disappointed if come May we're not in that conversation, not March.
You look at the table, we've all seen them now. We've all seen the table since the end of January. We've all seen the table since Bruno came in. We've all seen even the table since Ole came in. United are third on that table. I think we're only behind Liverpool on the table since January because of these games in hand that we've got. We've been, for the last 11 months, been arguably the best side in the league. And unfortunately, it's happened to have been the wrong 11 months. If it was the 11 months between September, and August, we might well have won the league. We have to keep this going, and we've lost the least amount of games since January. Unfortunately, all 3 have been this season. But yeah, I don't think it's out of the realms of possibility.
And the trouble is, right? Sometimes, and we get accused on this channel of being very pro Ole, but we are critical of Ole. And there's some people on this channel who've sort of said that they think Poch could come in. Most of us don't believe in that, but we don't. There's not just 1 or 2 of us who speak for everyone on the channel. But Ole's almost doomed if he doesn't. When Ole points out some of these stats, I think when someone said about United have lost 2 games this season, and he was like, well, we've also lost. Bruno's only lost 2 games in 30 since he's been here. 3, sorry. I think at the time it was 2, but yeah, you're right, it's 3. But he's only lost 2 or 3 since he's been here.
Yeah.
So, put a bit of perspective on it, and then people go, look at Ole sort of twisting the facts to suit his narrative. Or I love that thing where people don't like to count his record until he became permanent manager, because he won all the games as caretaker. So you take that away and then start him from when he started losing. I think, why? He was still the manager. Do you know what I mean? They'll still count. So I think that you've got to be put a little perspective on it, because it's like he can't do right for doing wrong at sometimes. And I think, look at what he inherited. Go back to that game against the Scousers where we got battered. I know it's only 3-1, but the club was falling apart. It was a mess. Everyone had fallen out with Jose. Jose had fallen out with everyone else. We were at our lowest ebb. Ole came in, gave us all a bit of a lift. And this season, as Joe said, 11, 12 games in or whatever it is, potentially we can be closer to the top than we've been since the Harlequin days of Sir Alex Ferguson. I'm going to wrap up in a minute, Joe. Before I do, tell me a little bit about members.
Yes, we have got a members competition that is currently running. It's called the 12 Days of Paddock, and it's basically a chance for all of our members to automatically be entered to win things like T-shirts, copies of FIFA. You can see there on the screen, we've got merch, we've got discount codes, we've got all sorts. And of course, the pinnacle of this giveaway is going to be a Sony PlayStation 5, which we're going to be giving away between the 12 days from the 26th of December to the 6th of January. All you have to do to be entered into the competition with a chance of winning a PlayStation 5 is become a member. Click on the little join button and you can become a member of the channel. We also have loads of members videos coming out. You can see a members video playlist where we get your podcasts, you get outtakes, behind the scenes videos, and we're going to be having a very special Christmas video coming out on the 24th as well. So join to become a member. There's loads going on, and after this giveaway is done as well, we're going to be having more giveaways. We're going to be having more exclusive content for members. So make sure you click that join button. Loads of stuff going on.
James has already done it. So James, welcome to the academy. He's a member now. And also, guys, thanks for your comments. I'm just going to read a few out just before we wrap up.
Yep.
A few people talking about James has said, I don't know if this is James or just anything. Is Jose got sacked from United, showing up at Anfield like he did tonight? So yeah, Jose still doing what he did. A few people saying swap Pogba. Oh, sorry, one person. I won't say the name out loud because it's a little bit offensive. Swap Pogba for Haaland or Sancho in the summer. I don't know about this swap deal with Pogba. We said we had a Pogba story, and that was in the Express story that we didn't mention, that he's been linked with a move to Juventus, and that there's reports in Italy that Juventus have even opened talks to get him in January. But Mino Raiola the other day, and I know you can't really trust anything that comes out of his mouth because it's invariably drivel, but he was saying it's probably not going to be January, because I felt that was like him saying, well, I can't get my deal in January, so you have to wait till the summer. But as always, we'll keep you posted on that one. But guys, we do appreciate you getting involved as well. Joe, where can people find you?
Joe Smith 93 on Twitter. Check me out, boys. And on Instagram as well, Joe Smith 93.
You can find me on Scotty and Motty if you want as well. I've just put a link in the chat, so if you click on that, Scotty and Motty, subscribe. We don't just talk about football, we talk about politics and news, you know what I mean? It's just how we roll. This has been Stretford Paddock Live. I do apologise as well if you're watching, and we went missing for a little bit, but Joe had to go and do his hair. But
it wasn't you doing your hair, was it?
I gave it out. It was a
doing you there, mate. See you
later.
See you later.
We've got a watch along as well tomorrow, so make sure you check it out because McCall is going to be here. Howson will be giving his post-match reaction as well, so make sure you are staying tuned for that. And don't forget to hit subscribe if you're not doing. I've been Jay, that's been Joe. This has been Stretford Paddock Live. Thanks for watching.
Head over to stretfordpaddock.bigcartel.com and check out the Paddock merch. And for a short time, you can get 20% off orders with 2 items or more using the code Paddock20. Go get on it.